The Handless Girl, a Russian folktale. In a distant kingdom, far from our own land, there once lived a wealthy merchant. He had 2 children, a son and a daughter. When their father and mother died, the brother said to his sister, "Let us leave this city. I will open a shop and trade goods, and I will find you a place to live." So they set out and came to another province. There the brother rented a shop and began trading fine cloth. In time, the brother decided to marry. He took a wife, a woman skilled in sorcery. Each day the brother went to his shop and said to his sister, "Watch over the house." The wife grew hateful when she saw how much her husband trusted his sister. Knowing the hour when her husband would return, the wife smashed all the furniture in the house and waited for him. When he came home, she said, "Look what your sister has done. She has destroyed everything in the storeroom." "These are only possessions," the husband replied. "Such things can be replaced." The next day, the brother again went to his shop and asked his sister to keep the house in order. When the wife learned the hour of his return, she went into the stable and cut off the head of her husband's favorite horse with a sword. Then she stood waiting on the porch. When the husband arrived, she said, "Look what your sister has done. She has killed your beloved horse." "What is done," the husband replied. "A horse is only an animal." On the 3rd day, before leaving for the shop, the brother said to his sister, "Watch over my wife, so that she does not harm herself or the child she may soon bear." After giving birth, the wife cut off the newborn's head herself. She sat beside the body, weeping. When the husband returned, she said, "I had barely given birth when your sister struck the child dead with a sword." The husband said nothing. He wept bitterly and left the house. That night, at midnight, he rose and said to his sister, "Dear sister, prepare yourself. We are going to church." "But brother," she said, "there is no feast day today." "There is a feast," he answered. "Come." Though she hesitated, she dressed herself. They set off together. After riding for some time, they came to a forest. "What forest is this?" the sister asked. "It is the fence around the church," the brother answered. The cart caught on a bush. The brother said, "Step down and free it." "I cannot," she said. "I will soil my dress." "I will buy you a new one, better than this," he replied. She stepped down to untangle the cart, and the brother cut off her hands at the elbows, struck the horse, and rode away. The sister remained alone in the forest, weeping. She wandered for a long time, until at last a narrow path led her out of the woods. She reached a merchant city and asked for alms beneath the windows of a wealthy merchant's house. That merchant had an only son, dear to him as the apple of his eye. The young man fell in love with the handless beggar and said to his parents, "Father and mother, let me marry her." "Marry whom?" they asked. "This beggar woman." "My son," they said, "are there not many fine daughters of merchants in the city?" "If you do not let me marry her," he said, "I will harm myself." Fearing for their only child, they gathered merchants and priests and asked their judgment. The priest said, "It is his fate. God blesses this marriage." The young man lived with his wife for a year and another, then departed to the city where her brother lived and kept his shop. Before leaving, he said to his parents, "Do not abandon my wife. If she gives birth, send word to me at once." After 2 or 3 months, the wife bore a wondrous child. gold to the elbows, stars along his sides, a bright moon on his forehead, and a red sun upon his chest. The grandparents rejoiced and sent a messenger with a letter to their son. But the brother's wife, the sorceress, intercepted the messenger. She destroyed the letter and wrote another, saying the child was half dog and half bear, born in the forest among beasts. When the son read this letter, he wept and wrote back, "Do nothing until I return. I will see the child myself." Once more, the sorceress intercepted the message and replaced it with another, commanding that the woman and child be driven from the house. Believing this to be their son's will, the parents wept but obeyed. They blessed the woman, tied the child to her breast, and sent her away. She wandered across open fields, weeping bitterly. Thirst overcame her, and she came to a well. She wished to drink, but feared dropping the child. When she bent forward, the child slipped and fell into the well. She circled the well in despair until an old man approached and asked, "Why do you weep?" "My child has fallen into the well," she said. "I have no hands, only arms to the elbow." "Reach down and take him," said the old man. As she reached, her hands grew back. She lifted the child from the water and prayed. She then came to the house where her brother and her husband lived and asked for shelter for the night. The husband said, "Brother, let the beggar woman stay. Beggars know how to tell stories and how to tell the truth." The wife protested, "There is no room in the house." "Let her stay," said the husband. "I love to hear such stories." The woman sat upon the stove with her child. "Tell us a story," they said, "any tale at all." "I do not tell fairy tales," she said. "I tell the truth." And she began her story. In a distant kingdom, far from our own land, there once lived a wealthy merchant. She told everything. When she finished, she pointed and said, "Here is my husband, here is my brother, and here is the woman who wronged me." They unwrapped the child, and the room filled with light. The truth was revealed. The wicked woman was punished. The innocent were reunited, and they lived in peace and prosperity. And I was there, drinking mead and wine. It flowed over my mustache, but never reached my mouth. If this story touched you, please like the video and subscribe. It helps these old tales find new listeners.